like he got into it with this Taxstone guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, I know Tax, like I know of him and shit. I used to see the nigga downtown or not. So he's like, yeah. He said, well, that's who he got into it with, and that his brother was there at the event. And so when he first tells me that it's a thing between Troy and Tax, what I know of Tax, I'm thinking Tax was the aggressor and pressed the line on old boy, right?
Yeah.
So when I get back to the dorm, when I get on the phone, I holler at school. School tells me about this shit. I was like, yeah, bro, I heard it's crazy out there, whatever. That nigga got into some shit at Irving Plaza, like he was shooting and shit. And he was like, yeah. He was like, nigga, Banger died or whatever and shit. So now when he told me, now Boxer told me somebody died, right? But I don't know who it is, and he don't know Banger and shit. That nigga been locked up 30 fucking 2 years or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I said, wait, Banger's the person that they talking about that died and shit. And so I started telling him, like, a nigga told me on the yard, like, I'm in here with a nigga that's related to Manolo. And he told me the shit. And that was how I found out that whole shit. And then by the time I come home, that in 2018, that nigga was on the Drink Champ interview. And they asked the nigga, was he going to tell? And he said, we're going to have to wait and see. At that time, the nigga Baby True called me and shit. And he asked me, he said, yo, what do you know about Troy Ave? I said, the same thing most of Brooklyn know about him. Nothing. I said, then what I do know is nothing good. So he's like, yo, I might be doing a song with the nigga. I'm like, that nigga might be singing for the judge or whatever. I said, so I don't know. I said, you better get your feature before they get this. He said, so you think I should do it? I said, bro, if you're gonna do it, I said, I'll do it before that nigga get on the stand, and that way you got plausible deniability. I said, at least you can take over the box.